Welcome in, everybody. It is a Tuesday night, so it is time for the BALLCAP Nightcap. And right off the bat, we might have some Dodgers fans hopping in here because we do have some breaking news. Blake Treinen is back with the Los Angeles Dodgers, breaking maybe about 10 minutes before we came on tonight. Just want to talk about that for a minute. We have some Sugano news we're going to get into. I promised you guys some laughs, maybe some smiles at the very least. Low bar here, but I wanted to dive into this real quick. Talk about Blake Treinen. This is going to be his age 33 season. Last year in LA, 3-3 with a 3.86 ERA. A nice piece out of that bullpen, really adding a lot of depth. We talked about it, that the bullpen was a primary focus for the Dodgers this offseason. With third base, they had to figure something out there, but the bullpen was the main area, and they have put a lot into it. Now with Treinen, they've got Corey Knebel, who they signed about a month or so ago. Tommy Kahnle, who they pulled away from the Yankees. We're going to get into the Yankees in a little bit. And they bring back Ferguson and Kelly and Gonzalez and Kolarek, Floro, Graterol, Jansen. Maybe not many Dodgers fans are happy to hear Jansen coming back. But it's a nice bullpen now. A lot of different options. A couple different guys that if Jansen struggles, you can go to. Right? You don't have to. Thank you, BZ Baseball. Thank you for that. You don't have to worry about, let's say Jansen struggles, you don't have any backup situation because they do. You know, this probably takes them out of the Liam Hendriks conversation, which they were in just yesterday. I think that's probably over now because they're giving Treinen a decent amount of money, 2 years, $17.5 million. I don't know how much money they really wanted to throw at that closer position because in the Hendriks video yesterday, we noted that the Dodgers already have the highest paid closer in baseball at $20 million, and Treinen's market is at about $15 million. Not Treinen, but Hendriks. So it's probably, this might be, other than a lefty, the last move the Dodgers make for the bullpen. And I think it's fine. Again, let's say you get into a situation where Jansen is struggling. You got Treinen can fill in. Who else do we have? We had Kahnle that can fill in, and you could also roll Knebel into that closer role. He has experience in the closer spot. So the Dodgers, instead of going out and getting one of the big names like Hand or Yates or Hendriks, they've filled it in with other capable names, probably because, again, they got $20 million in the Kenley Jansen bank. So that's that whole situation. So Blake Treinen, that is the breaking news out of the gate here, that he has signed with the Dodgers, coming back a 2-year deal, and we move on. Let's get to Sagano real quick because that's one of the main focuses on the thumbnail. So some people might be hopping in to check out what's the Sagano conversation about, and then we're going to get into I'm going to call it the wild pitch, where things might get a little hairy for you guys, but we'll see how it goes. All right. So let's talk about Sagano. Now, interesting is he's only got 2 more days left to sign. Where's he going to go? Want you guys to let me know. Comment in the chat. 1, 2, or 3. 1, the Giants. 2, the Jays. 3, the Red Sox. And drop an F if you think he's just going to go back to Japan. Because that's the situation. If he doesn't get a deal done, and it seems like these 3 teams have sort of emerged as the 3 most likely spots, Giants, Blue Jays, or Red Sox, or he goes home. Now, when he goes home, he's got a 4-year deal waiting for him with 3 opt-outs. Not 1, not 2, but 3 opt-outs if he goes back to Japan. So he could be posted again. He could try this again next year, when the market is maybe a little bit more lucrative, because right now money seems to be an issue for a lot of teams. The Blue Jays Do they want to jump in on Sugano, or do they want to try to make sure they secure a top name? The Red Sox, they need the pitching help, but are they willing to make the splash? So a lot in play here with Sagano. Which way does he go? A lot of folks here we're seeing La Savage Gamer, Kyle, Homie Cow thinking he's going to go back to Japan, BZ Baseball thinking he's going to the Blue Jays. So we'll just sort of see where that plays out. As far as pitchers go, he is an intriguing name and maybe one of the best names out there at this point in terms of quality pitching. We're going to show some of his stuff there. He is striking out Justin Bohr. He's got some decent stuff. Was amazing in Japan, right? One of the elite pitchers over there. But the question is, how does that transfer, right? 14-2 last year, 1.97 ERA. What worries me is his K rate. For a 1.97 ERA, the K rate could be better. It's an 8.6 K rate, which, hey, that's fair, but that's not against the best hitting on the planet. And that's going to be, I think, a big adjustment for him. Is his stuff is not good enough to be overwhelming over there. So how does it transfer? How does it play here? And that's where I think you're looking at best, the number 3 pitcher in your rotation. He's not going to be at the top. Don't expect him to come over and be like Hyunjin Ryu or somebody like that. I think his ceiling in Major League Baseball is the number 3 man in your rotation, which is still fine. And he's not going to cost a ton of money either. So if you're expecting number 3 starter stuff, I think you'll be okay. The Jays rotation, they've got Ryu, Pearson, and then it gets kind of ugly. Roark, Thornton. I do like Robbie Ray. The Giants rotation, you got Cueto, Gosman, Logan Webb, Descalfini, and Beatty. The Red Sox rotation, you've got Sale, Rodriguez. Sale won't be back until midsummer. Eovaldi, the youngster Hawk, Pavetta, and Matt Andriese filling in while they wait for Sale to get back. So out of those 3 rotations, he'd certainly slide right into that 3 spot for Toronto. For the Giants, they might need him to be more than what his ceiling is. But, with that rotation, Cueto, Gosman, Webb, Descalfini, and Beatty, it's an okay rotation. It's a quality rotation. But they may bring him in and expect him to perform at a higher level. We'll see. And the Red Sox, again, once you get Sale back, Rodriguez has shown he's a good starter. Houck was good up last year. He would probably slide into the 3 spot there. So those 3 teams are who are in the mix: Jays, Giants, and Red Sox, and we'll see which way he goes. Kyle, I'm a big fan of Robbie Ray as well. I think he has as much upside as any of the free agent pitchers that are out there. Yes, I said any of the free agent pitchers out there. That includes, oh, wait, we have. Sorry, guys. I threw that in today. I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun with it. We have this tweet from Rachel Luba. This was probably about an hour ago at this point, so maybe it's not breaking, but it is recent as of tonight. Watch out for Trevor Bauer's social media. Probably do it on YouTube. He is going to go out and explain what he's looking for. So this is from Luba. So far, we and Trevor have spoken to a number of teams. Trevor's encouraged to hear so many teams and coaches talking about the data and technology they're using. Free agency is a unique experience for players. Trevor has enjoyed the process. He's looking forward to seeing fans back in parks. Trevor will make his decision based on a variety of factors. Stay tuned for further updates. So an update from Trevor Bauer is coming soon. That came out over Twitter about an hour ago from Rachel Luba. So how that's going to go, hey, Isaiah, welcome in. How that's going to go is, I guess we'll see. Keep an eye out for his YouTube account, and let's see if he gives us anything more than these sort of teaser updates, that he's met with some teams, or he's wearing some teams' hats, or whatever he's doing. That'll be interesting. So keep an eye out for that. Trevor Bauer is looking to make some headlines. But again, like I was talking about, I think Robbie Ray, just to hop back to what I was saying with Kyle, I think Robbie Ray has as much upside as Trevor Bauer does. That is, some people might think I'm absolutely insane. Most of you in here might think I'm absolutely insane, but I'm just not drinking the Trevor Bauer Kool-Aid. If the Blue Jays were to sign him, I'll get on board and I will want him to be the best pitcher he can be. But until then, I'm just going to be skeptical Jim for a little bit. All right. Matisse, are you going to talk about Puig? We are going to talk about Puig in a couple of minutes. I do promise some Puig talk. We are going to get to Puig when we get to the free agent news. We have already covered Sugano. We talked about some breaking news there with Treinen, and we talked about the Trevor Bauer situation. Let's get into something. Let's get into the wild pitch. I tweeted it. I put it out on the YouTube poll earlier today. Listen, all I can promise are maybe some cracked smiles, jokes that might maybe make you smirk. I promise no laughs, but we're going to give it a try here. I want to try to do something a little different, and then we're going to get into the free agent update. Again, all I can do is promise smiles, no laughs, low bar here, people. That's what we're working for. So, all right, let's get right into it. Donald Trump is in the news again. No, we're not doing Donald Trump. Okay. They're telling me no Donald Trump. Wait, but it's not a good one. Okay. The Trump jokes are no good, so we're going to pull the Trump jokes and we're going to move on from that. No Trump jokes. You're good. Let's keep it baseball oriented. So yesterday, Shai Davidi reported that Liam Hendriks was seen outside the Blue Jays facility in Dunedin, and that was news, and that got a whole thing started. So we've got beat writers on stakeouts now to try to stir up some news, some free agency hot stove activity. Well, I've also heard that George Springer was recently seen at the Queens Zoo taking pictures with the llamas. DJ LeMahieu was recently seen in Niagara Falls getting into a barrel. Somebody might want to check on DJ LeMahieu. That'll kill his free agency value. Jose Altuve was seen at the Electronics Plus in Cleveland, Texas. When approached, the only quote he could give was that 2021 was going to be a big year. Trevor Bauer was seen in the San Diego International Airport picking up a strange briefcase outside ticketing. And last but certainly not least, Charlie Blackmon was seen here. Charlie Blackmon was seen here leaving I love this picture of Charlie Blackmon, by the way. Was seen here leaving a Bass Pro fishing shop, but not in Colorado, in Gillsville, Georgia, where he reportedly bet with the head coach of the Big Daddies of the USSA Slow Pitch Softball League. Let's check in. Jesus. I don't know if any of you have seen the Slow Pitch Softball League. They don't even run the bases. They just hit the home run and they walk back to the bench, maybe to grab another beer. I don't know. But in all honesty, it has been generally a slow-moving offseason so far. So slow, in fact, that the people in charge of getting the vaccine dispersed think it's going slowly. Not good when they're telling you to pick up the pace. Now, I did see something on Twitter today, MLB division sponsors. So I want to give some credit here first because this was kind of an interesting situation. Now, this is not real. This is something that was put out there on Twitter. I want to give the I want to give the credit to where the credit is due. So let me get this where I found it on Twitter. It was by Matt at Hoodie Glaber on Twitter. At Hoodie Glaber. He is an intern with John Boy, I suppose. So he put this out there. I thought it was kind of interesting. The funny idea that the NHL is doing the different sponsors for the different divisions, and MLB could hop on board. He came up with Scott's for the East, Chevy for the Central, Camping World for the West, MasterCard for the NL East, OxyClean for the Central, and T-Mobile for the West. Now, I thought we could do a little bit better. So let's just jump right into it. The AL East. Why don't we give it to FarmersOnly.com? The AL East will be sponsored by the FarmersOnly.com. Fine folks over there if you're on FarmersOnly.com. There you go. Let's head to the Central. We'll call it PH, just in case anyone on YouTube is listening. The West, let's give it to Viagra. The National League East, let's move to the National League and go to Scores. Why not? They've got a New York office, outpost, we'll call it. The National League Central, Preparation H. And the National League West, let's wind it down and give the National League West to Tinder. So we've got Farmers Only, PH, Viagra, Scores, Preparation H, and Tinder as our sponsors throughout baseball, all of the different divisions. All right, guys. That is the wild pitch. I hope you enjoyed. Again, just to give you maybe a smile. So there you go. Want to hear a joke? The Orioles. We have some Orioles fans in here, so let's take care of them. But yes, the Orioles are kind of a joke right now. Kyle has some breaking news. Sagano seems to be returning to Japan. Jays are out. I believe that from Kyle. So Sagano, we hardly knew you. Adios. Heading back to Japan. You know what? Just because I like it so much, thanks to Kyle, we get this one more time. Tomoyuki Sagano is heading back to Japan. Not going to be signing with the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, or the Giants, which had been rumored to be really the last three teams out there. Probably couldn't get the money that he wanted. Elliott, welcome in. Couldn't get the money that he wanted, I'm going to assume. And that's why he's heading back to Japan. He gets that 4-year deal with 3 opt-outs, so he can always come back if he wants. All right. So let's get into Elliot. You just missed wild pitch. You're going to have to go back and catch it on the replay once this is done, and you can download it. We're going to drive this train towards the free agent news. Now, a lot of folks, we had a question about Puig earlier. We're going to get into that, but we're going to take a look at the free agent news, what's happening, because it is kind of picking up, and we'll get into that. We talked about the Blake Treinen signing earlier. Robbie Grossman signed earlier today. A nice signing for the Tigers. 2 years, $10 million. Not bad. I think he'll be productive. We're going to look at some of the baseball forecaster projections for these names that we're going to be talking about. Robbie Grossman's 2021 projection. Now, he's probably going to be playing all the time in Detroit. This projection is not an all the time projection. This projection is about, let me look it up actually real quick while I'm sitting here. This projection is based on an at-bat total of 420. So in Detroit, probably give him 200 more at bats. So we'll up this a little bit. But based on this 21 projection, and for every projection, everybody that's here, hit the 1 if you think he goes over, the 2 if you think it's under, the 3 if it looks good. For this one, I'm going to go over because he's going to be playing full time. This is, again, based on 420 at-bats. I think he probably gets 600 at-bats with the Tigers. So I think this is going to go over by a little bit, again, just because he's going to have more opportunities. So this is Robbie Grossman signing with the Tigers. Again, 2 years, $10 million. That's the other news from today. We have some overs, some unders, some looking good. So we have Robbie Grossman. That was the news. That and Blake Treinen today making the headlines in the offseason for baseball. Next up, we're going to get into some guys that haven't signed, but there is a little bit of news. Liam Hendriks mentioned it yesterday, mentioned it earlier in the nightcap, was seen outside of the Jays facility by Shai Davidi, hanging out in an inconspicuous 2010 Toyota Camry, white, no license plates. And it was Jays, White Sox, and Dodgers. I think the Dodgers are probably out with this news of Blake Treinen. So it's probably really just down to the Jays and the Sox. Now, there could be, a mystery team that creeps up in there. Guys, let me know. Where's he going to sign? 1 for the Jays, 2 for the Dodgers, 3 for the Sox. Where do you think he's going to sign? I think it's probably between Toronto and Chicago. Both teams want to make a push, want to get into the playoffs and make a playoff run, and they need closers. So, last year, Jays had an assortment of guys closing out games, and they finished out the year with Dolis. I don't think it's going to continue. MLB Joey, I like it. 4 other. That's good. We have some others. If you don't think it's any of these guys, follow MLB Joey's lead. Hit the next number up for other. So we've got Jays and Sox, probably the 2 teams that are going to make a run at Liam Hendriks. Let's take a look at his projection. 35 saves, 88 strikeouts over 65 innings, a 2.44 ERA, and a 0.88 whip. Probably about right. This is a projection. To project a whip under 1, to project a low ERA can be difficult. So this is pretty fair, I think, for the most part. 1, 2, 3. 1 if you think it is over. 2 if you think it's about right. 3 if it's under. Let's get on to the next name that has sort of popped up, and that's Brad Hand. Again, the Dodgers were rumored to be on Hand. I think that's over, so we'll focus on the Jays and the Mets. If the Jays cannot work out a deal with Hendriks, I think Hand is probably the next man up. The Mets have some interest in Hand. They need the lefty. The Mets have a lot of options to close, so this would just be one more option for them if Diaz implodes again. But I think the Jays, there's a chance if Hand stays out there for a while, maybe the Jays end up with, Hendriks and Hand, depending on how quickly Hand signs. But we've got Hand out here. His projection, a little lighter on the saves, similar K to inning, actually the exact same. They projected the exact same K to inning for Hand as they did for Hendriks. 88 out of 65, a 3.43 ERA, higher ERA for Hand, and a 1.05 whip. Let's keep moving. Let's move on to Justin Turner. I think we'll probably stop here and talk for just a minute. So Justin Turner, really there's no teams that are hot on him right now, but the news that came out yesterday was that Justin Turner wants a 4-year contract. Dodgers fans, if you're in here, do you want Justin Turner on a 4-year deal, taking him to 40 years old? I can't imagine you do. Where's he going to sign? The Jays have been linked to him. Now, it's been a few weeks since the Jays were linked. The Dodgers have been linked to him, but this 4-year contract could be tough. Could be tough for somebody to get on board with. I can't imagine. Again, Dodgers fans, if you're in here, what do you think? Is Turner coming back for 4 years? Yeah, Carl, as a Padres fan, yeah, send him. Yeah, if you're a Padres fan, yeah, you're all about Turner going to LA on a 4-year deal. I can't imagine that actually happens. In my mind, that's a bargaining piece right there. You start at 4 so you can get 3. That's probably what he wants, because if he takes a 2-year deal, when those 2 years are up, it's going to be tough. He's going to have a tough time. So you're probably starting with 4, hoping to get 3. This feels like a bargaining move right there by Justin Turner. Here is his projection for 2021. Pretty fair. Again, in the chat, 1, 2, 3, over, under, looks good. 74 runs, 21 homers, 65 RBI, 3 steals, and a fair slash line, 294, 384, and 501 Over, under, and looks good. Let me know. I feel like this is probably going to be about right. The problem is with a 4-year deal, this isn't what you're going to be getting in year 3 and year 4. So I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't touch it. I would, if I'm a Jays fan, I say Dodgers, you can have it. I don't even know if I'd want him for 3 years, quite frankly. I don't want a 39-year-old Justin Turner running around. There's a cliff. It's coming. It's coming. I think 2021 could be fine, but that cliff's coming again. All right, we got Justin Turner. We are going to move on to Yasiel Puig. A lot of teams being mentioned along with Puig's name. Red Sox, Yankees, Astros, Marlins, Orioles. Where is he going to sign? Comment in the chat. 1 for the Orioles, 2 for the Marlins, 3 for the Astros, 4 for the Red Sox, 5 for the Yankees. Not often we get to talk about a free agent move for the Orioles or the Marlins, and the Astros haven't really been linked to anybody. So where is he going to go? New York, Boston, Houston, Florida, or Baltimore? I think it depends on what the deal is, in my opinion. If he's signing a 1-year deal with somebody, it's Baltimore or it's Miami. If he's signing a multi-year deal, it's probably Houston, Boston, or New York. Carl has him going to the KBO. So, I would think that he could go and perform well in Baltimore. He could be a shining star there, just put up a bunch of numbers. In Miami, I actually think he'd be a nice fit in Miami. Houston has some needs in the outfield. Reddick is still a free agent. Springer's gone. So Puig makes sense for Houston for sure. Boston could use him. I'm surprised New York is mentioned with him just because of how crowded the New York outfield situation is, and you got Stanton pretty much implanted at DH. So any Yankee fans that are in here, do you want Puig? Do you want to add him into that outfield situation? You got a lot of guys out there. Let's move on to the next one. First let's check the projection. Yasiel Puig's projection for 2021 based on the forecaster: 60 runs, 21 homers, 63 RBI, 13 steals, a slash line of 266, 330, and 475. Again, what do you think? A comment 1, 2, or 3. Over, under, or looks good for Yasiel Puig in 2021. It's going to depend, obviously, on the lineup. That's why this is a projection. Could go up, it could go down, and that'll be dependent upon the lineup. BZ Baseball's got it way over. Kalua's got it over. Kyle's got it over. I think it is as well. He's just got to end up. If he ends up with the Yankees, this is probably about right. If he ends up in Miami or Baltimore or Boston, I think it's a little bit higher. I think in New York, he probably won't play 150 games. He'll probably play 120, 130. So the numbers, the opportunities could be a little bit less. So we got Puig there. Continuing with the free agent news, Corey Kluber is throwing for a bunch of teams. We don't know all of the teams that he's throwing for yet. We know a handful that have sort of crept out on Twitter based on the beat reporters. The Red Sox are going to be there. The Mets are going to be there. The Nats are going to be there. The Diamondbacks are going to be there. I think he makes the most sense for the Nats. I would love to see him with the Nats. Where do you think he signs? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? 5 is other. Where's he going to go? I think the Nats need to pull the trigger on something like this because it's probably only going to be a 1-year deal. Now, the Mets could use him, sure. All these teams could use him. But if Washington is trying to stay competitive in that National League East, Corey Kluber makes a lot of sense for me with Washington. Boston obviously needs it. That's for sure. Darcy talked about World Juniors. Let's if somebody wants to take on the role of score check with that, by all means, keep us posted on what the score is. I don't have the game on, so if you want to do World Juniors score updates, I'm all for it. All right, BC for moderator. This is my 4th show, and we're working on something like that. We got 1-0 USA. All right. What point are we in? Are we in first, second, third? It's late. I got to think we're probably in the third period. Let me know. What point are we? Is it over? Let me know. Let's see. Second period just starting. Okay. So again, score check. Keep us updated. So again, this is the fourth live stream that we've done on the nightcap. I do need to look into the whole moderator situation because a bunch of you are good candidates to be moderators. So we'll keep an eye out for that. I got to figure that out. We'll figure that out, and we'll be doling some of that out. All right. So this is the Kluber situation. Let's move on. We do have one more name to get to, and that is, he crept up today. Jake Odorizzi is on the radar for the Boston Red Sox. A fair start. The Red Sox are in on all these guys. They need extra pitching. That is for sure. But today the word broke that they are in. The Red Sox are looking for a Jake Odorizzi addition. Serious interest. Really the first team to show serious interest in Jake Odorizzi in a while. He'd been linked to a bunch of teams, the Jays, the Angels, the Twins, the Padres, the Red Sox, the Mets, the Rays, and on and on and on. But that was a few weeks ago. This is the first time we've heard some new, fresh Jake Odorizzi news, and it is Red Sox. So how that sort of plays out, will he be Boston, New York, Toronto, the Rays? A lot of familiar faces here from the previous slides. Rays, of course, with the losses of Blake Snell and Charlie Morton, they're going to be in the market to do something. I don't think they want to completely roll out, Yarbrough. Just really what they can have like 2 or 3 guys from last year, and then they're going to hope that McKay pans out and some of the other young guys. They're going to want some experience. Odorizzi used to pitch in Tampa, would make good sense. Boston needs it. Boston wants to come back. Isaiah, thank you for hopping in. Take it easy, buddy. Boston wants to compete, so they need to do something. I think Boston's going to get one of these guys. Let's take a look at Odorizzi's projection. 10 wins, 159 Ks over 160 innings, an ERA of about 4, and a WHIP of 1.27. Let me know, what do you guys think? Over, under, looks good. Let me know. I'm realizing right now as we're looking at Odorizzi's projection, we'll look at it for another few seconds here. I didn't put up the Kluber projection, so we'll hop back to that. Right now. We'll look back at the Kluber projection. 9 wins, 94 Ks over 102 innings, a 3.69 ERA, and 1.11 WHIP. This is looking at, not a full season, not him either starting on time, which he's trying to prove he can, right, with the showcase that he's putting on, or he doesn't make it because he gets hurt. He's not that old. It kind of seems like he's old because of how long he was with Cleveland, and now all of the injury troubles he's had. He's really not that old, and I think that it makes sense to give him a chance. As far as the Jays go, would love for the Jays to make a move. Kluber on a 1-year deal, just trying to prove he still got it. I'd love that. This is going to be his age 35 season. He hasn't pitched a full season since 2018. And remember, 2018, 2017, 2016, he was dominant. Top 3 in the Cy Young all 3 years. Won the Cy Young in 17, won the Cy Young in 2014. Was really good. Was actually in the top 10 in Cy Young voting in 2015 when he led the league in losses. To finish in the top 10 in Cy Young voting when you lead the league in losses, he went 9-16 that year, is an accomplishment in itself. So, Corey Kluber on a 1-year deal, I think anybody would take Corey Kluber. So we've got Corey Kluber out there. A lot of news. Hopefully, today is sort of a break the dam moment, and we start seeing some signings. We got the Grossman signing. We got the Treinen signing. Hopefully we get some more of those, and that gets us through the free agent news. Anybody that's new, hopping in the channel. If you've missed anything that's in the lineup, let me know. We can hop back and talk something. If you want to talk Treinen for a minute, We've been going for a little over half an hour. We got 101 in here, so thank you everybody who's here. If you want us to hop back and talk about Sagano, word on Sagano is that he's heading back to Japan. It had been down to the Giants and the Red Sox and the Blue Jays, but doesn't look like that's going to happen. So if you're interested in hopping back on anything, and if specifically you want to talk any free agents in the chat, let me know who specifically are you maybe looking for talking about. And if we've got Jeannie, thank you for that. If you are looking for someone specifically, if we've got one of our visual aids for them, we'll put it up there. Let's dive into the next piece from the lineup. Is a fear of the unknown. Do you have DJ going to LA or New York? I think it's more likely it's New York. That's just a gut feeling. And we're going to talk about that. That's a nice segue. Thank you for that question. Let's take a look at this real quick because I did prepare some Yankee stuff. Here, this Yankees offseason, if you're a Yankee fan, any Yankee fans that are in the chat, how disappointed are you? You have to be disappointed. This can't be how you wanted things to go. Fighting with DJ LeMahieu over money. Tanaka's talking about going back to Japan and not even pitching in America. How did it get to this point? So here's the offseason so far. They have signed nobody. Matthew Bowman, Socrates Brito, Nestor Cortez, Andrew Velasquez. You will probably see none of them on the major league roster in a game. And if you do, it's because you're getting crushed with injuries. Who have you lost? Tommy Kahnle's a Dodger. Jonathan Holder's gone. And then some other guys, Duffy, Abad, Alvarez, Acevedo, they're gone. But really unsigned, still out there. You knew Gardner was going to be gone. You probably didn't care about Happ. Paxton, you maybe are holding out hope for Paxton. You got Tanaka. Again, talking about going out west. Tim Thompson, where's Bauer going? If I had to guess, it would be the Angels. Thank you for that question, Tim. Let's see. So, and then DJ LeMahieu. Again, they're fighting over dollars with DJ LeMahieu. And quite frankly, I don't understand why. The 2020 payroll was $251 million. And that was adjusted down to $111 million based on the whole COVID thing and only playing 60 games. Now, the profits were in the toilet last year. I get that. But they still saved over $100 million last year in the payroll. And this year's payroll right now is about $100 million less, $90 million less than they were prepared to spend last year. And that 161 includes, and this is according to Spot Track, that includes players with contracts right now and the projected arbitration dollars. So they still have they have a lot of guys they need to work out arbitration with or sign 1-year deals with. They got to work out Judge, Voit, Urshela, Torres, Frazier, Sanchez. They tendered him a contract, but is that the contract he plays with, or how does that work out? They're going to go to arbitration over that. That's the question: is what are those salaries going to look like? Does that take them over 160 million? I don't know. Right now, the top salaries: Cole's making 36, Stanton's making 29, Chapman's 15, Britton's 13, Hicks is 10, Severino's 10. They have the money at the end of the day. They have the money for DJ LeMahieu. They have the money for Masahiro Tanaka. You got to be disappointed, Yankees fans. As a fan of an American League East team that isn't the Yankees, I'm loving it. I feel like there is a shift in the balance here because they're not doing it. The Yankees just they're not crying poor, but they're also not. They don't seem to be in a hurry to spend money. Now, maybe they're waiting to try to see how much revenue they can forecast for 2021 with when fans might be back. But if they lose LeMahieu to the Mets or the Dodgers or the Yankees, they're in trouble. They have to have DJ LeMahieu back on this team because if they don't, their options to replace him are limited. You could have Didi back, you could have Simeon back, but DJ LeMahieu is the guy. DJ LeMahieu is who they need to bring back. He was the batting champ. He has been in the MVP conversation both years in New York. He's hit so well there. To just be even messing around is just absolutely foolish. So the Yankees are really just wasting time with this whole DJ LeMahieu thing. They need to go out and get a deal done, and they're not. And I got to think, Yankee fans, you can't be too thrilled about that. So the needs, what do the Yankees need? They're in a spot now where they definitely need one starter, maybe two. You got a second base need. I don't think you want to have Tyler Wade out there. Or you could sign a shortstop and move Torres to second. You know, that's where Simeon or Didi come in. But do Simeon or Didi get you as excited as bringing DJ LeMahieu back? I can't imagine. Now, Didi gives you that lefty bat, which is another need that they have, which is why Luke Voit has popped up in the trade rumors, trade wins, because do they trade him? We talked about last week a trade to Texas for Joey Gallo, and maybe there's some other pieces in there to make that work. But what do the Yankees need? One, maybe two starters, the middle infield spot, again, second or short, a lefty bat, and a bullpen piece or two, right? They lost Tommy Kahnle. They need to probably you can never have enough bullpen. The Dodgers are showing that. The Dodgers are going out and be very aggressive with the bullpen. Let me check back in with the comments. Hum Baby Baseball, Eric, welcome in. Hendriks going to LA. I think it's going to be interesting. I'm intrigued by this Blake Treinen move just because I think the money situation for the Dodgers, they're going to start counting their pennies now. They've already got $20 million sunk into Kenley Jansen. They just spent a good portion on Treinen. How much more are they going to want to put into the bullpen? Because they have three nice additions with Kinsler, Kahnle, and Treinen. They've got three nice additions. They got $20 million sunk into Jansen. Do they want to go even more? I don't know. I can't imagine they would. Plus, that would mean they have $35 million. More than that. We've got $15 million. So Hendriks projected value is about $15 million. $20 million with $35 million for that closer role might be tough. Might be tough for them to swallow. Robert Brown, I think they're out on Hendriks. I think you're right. I just don't see it happening. I don't see them making a move to go and spend more money on the bullpen, especially throw more money at that closer situation. BZ Baseball, Phillies are going to suck this year. Well, you need to get JT Realmuto back. That's a deal you got to do. And there's enough that you can add on. The bullpen arms that are out there, there's a lot of them. So go get a couple pieces to the bullpen. There's a lot of starting pitchers that I'm feeling pretty confident you can get on 1 or 2 year deals for not a lot of money, guys that are looking to prove themselves. Like a team could pull it together. The team with the pieces. The Phillies have pieces, right? The Phillies have Harper. They have good players. They have Nola. They have the guy at the top of the bullpen, and they have the monster in that lineup. So just build around it. There are enough building block pieces this situation. Everybody, we have a lot of new faces in here. I think we're at 140 strong. Thank you all for joining in. If you haven't already, please take a moment and give this a like if you're enjoying the baseball talk. And sub to the channel if you haven't already. Every Tuesday, we do the BALLCAP Nightcap. And throughout the week, when big news breaks, we come on live and we do it all over again. We break down the moves. We did a couple live streams last week on top of the Nightcap for the Snell and the Darvish deal. So if you're a fan of baseball, I think you're in a good place. Make sure you subscribe and stay close. If you subscribe, please let me know in the chat that you have subscribed. I will do my best to throw you up on the screen and ask a question too. This is not just me. This is designed to be a two-way street here. I want you guys to comment as well. So let me know what you want to talk about because we are getting towards the end of the lineup. And once we get to the end of the lineup, I'm going to turn it over to the chat and we are going to talk about what you guys want to talk about. So again, if you are a new subscriber, let us know and I will put you up on the screen. And Tim Thompson, thank you. And ask a question. If you are a content creator, that's another thing. let's grow, baby. If you are a content creator, let me know. I will promote your channel real quick. Got 136, 130 eyeballs about right now. I will let you guys know. 77 Luke Duke, thank you. I'll promote you guys. Baby Baseball does a lot of stuff. If you haven't seen that already, great Giants content over there. And he did a nice video. If you'd like to do Photoshop, check out his Photoshop video about changing the jersey, doing the jersey shop from Bauer in a Reds jersey to a Giants jersey, full body swap. I gotta watch that. I gotta spend more time with that. I'm halfway there. Like I've got the hat swap and the jersey shop. I need that, so a lot of that. La Savage Gamer, I'm a YouTuber. Check out his channel if you could, guys. Again, we're supporting each other here. Seeger, thank you for the new sub. Everybody that is a new sub, thank you for letting me know. And again, if you are creating content, let me know. I will give you a shout out and some new eyeballs. La Savage Gamer is YouTubing as well. Yes, the full body shop. Eric, it was good. It was a good one. All right, so let's talk about the Blue Jays for a minute. For my Blue Jay fans that are in here, again, we're going to talk about everything you guys want to talk about. We're focused a lot on the Dodgers tonight with the Treinen move. We're focused on a lot of the free agents. So give me a second, Tim. There you go, buddy. Tim, thank you again for the sub. I appreciate that. Appreciate it. Everybody, thank you. All right, let's go real quick. We're going to just George, trades today? No trades today. No trades, but we will be keeping an eye out for that. If there is a trade, we're going to talk about it. So the Blue Jays, my team, real quick. I know we got some Blue Jay fans in here. Blue Jay fans got something big in the works. January, later this month, February. Stay close. Ian, let's go Jays. I have something nice in the works. I've been talking to some people who know some things and might be coming on and joining. I don't want to say anything yet until we're further down the road, but some good things are happening. Jays fans, stay close. Blue Jays, this has been a crazy offseason because, and I was working up a graphic and I was thinking about who we were going to put in the graphic. There's too many names. So I just threw them down. And this isn't even everybody, which is absolutely insane. Jays fans that are in the chat, who do you want? I know you want DJ. We want DJ. We want Springer. Half of you want Bauer. I think there's a lot of Hendriks love. If we're going beyond that, if we're looking at some of these other pieces, who do you like? Because the Blue Jays have been pinged with everybody. I mean, you name it. Their name is attached to it. It's hard to know what's real and what's not real. With the DJ situation, it's hard to know if DJ's just trying to leverage a deal with the Yankees. But the Blue Jays have been attached to LeMahieu, Springer, Bauer, Hendriks, Sagano. Sagano we now know is going back to Japan. Colton Wong, Jake Odorizzi, Jackie Bradley Jr., Andrelton Simmons, Michael Brantley, Justin Turner, Mike Fiers, Marcell Ozuna, Brad Hand, JT Realmuto, J.A. Happ, Taijuan Walker. It goes on and on to the point where you get really excited, but at the same time, you kind of get nervous because you're talking about Springer and Bauer and DJ, but what happens if it's just, Jackie Bradley Jr., Fiers, and Happ? That's real. That could happen. That would be really disappointing, but it could happen. And that's where this has been just a crazy offseason. They're talking about 5 for 125 is what they have offered Springer, which is not going to get it done from all accounts. Springer wants more money than that. You got a lot of guys that are still looking for money like you would see in a regular season. And George Springer seems to be one of those guys that wants to get his money similar to that of what you saw Bryce Harper get, what you saw Manny Machado get. Will he get that money this off season? I think he's hitting the market at the wrong time. would be a great time for whoever's going to sign him. If he goes to Toronto, great time, because maybe they can get away with, instead of paying him $35 million, they can get him for $25 million, which I think is more of what they're talking about. But George Springer, the other thing that is intriguing here is that Springer's options are, I don't want to say they're limited, but he can't play the Yankees or the Dodgers in this situation. That's one of the greatest bargaining chips that a player has when they hit the free agent market, is they can say, well, I'm talking to the Yankees, or I'm talking to the Dodgers, and they're going to pay me $35 million. He doesn't have that luxury. He's not going to the Yankees. He's not going to the Dodgers. Could you imagine? It's not going to happen. So he doesn't have that chip. Now he's got the Mets, and that Mets situation, that's not going to die off for a while. Like, you're going to hear about the Mets until he signs, because he needs the Mets. If the Mets come out and say, we are out, Matthew, go Jays, right on. If the Mets come out and say, yeah, we're out on George Springer, not going to happen. If Steve Cohen gets on his Twitter machine and is like, yeah, we're done with George Springer, his bargaining power just drops through the floor, because he needs to have that big market appeal when he's going out and he's saying, yeah, I'm going to do, I got $30 million. I got $30 million from the Mets. So then the Blue Jays have to counter. But if the Mets aren't there, all of a sudden, maybe the Blue Jays are the high bidders at that $25 million mark. So the Mets are kind of in the driver's seat when it comes to some of these guys. That's going to be interesting with this whole, with the whole Springer situation and the Blue Jays and any of these other guys. All right, everybody, again, sub if you haven't subbed. We have gone through the lineup now. Anybody that may be coming in here, Rod, I'm going to interrupt myself. The Ozuna thing is interesting because he really isn't a great left fielder anymore. He wants to go somewhere where he can be a DH. And I don't think the Blue Jays just want to sign a DH. Think about this team. They love versatility. They love guys that can play multiple positions, right? And that is going to be a hard part for Ozuna, is that he's going to kind of be camped out at DH. I think that we'll see how that plays out. But I think that could hurt him potentially long term, is that he's sort of stuck at the DH spot. All right. So again, if you're here and you're hanging out and you're enjoying the conversation, hit the like on the video. I appreciate the support. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Again, we are creating a nice little baseball community, and I want as many people to be a part of it as possible. We've got some great things planned. Once we can get back out into the wild, once we can get to stadiums, once we can get and talk to other people outside, we're going to take this thing on the road. So it should be a lot of fun. Make sure you're here, you're hanging out, and you're part of it, because I enjoy it, and I hope you guys do too. So let's see. BALLCAP Sports, not promising soda is making me make it harder to get the likes. I know. We'll see. We'll figure something out. But guys, please hit the like if you're here, if you're hanging out. We have 115 people hanging out in the chat right now. If everybody went and just hit the like, we'd be there. Trying to hit to that 100 mark. And again, subscribe if you haven't already. We are at the point, we've gone through Sagano. We've maybe made you laugh with the wild card, wild pitch. I don't even know what I'm calling it. The wild pitch segment, where we had something that maybe was funny. Some free agent news, we did that. Yankees, we did that. Blue Jays, we've done that. So you guys at the chat, we are going to run the show. You guys are going to run the show. Kyle, give me the best trade for Lindor. I mean, it really depends, right? It depends on, can they work out a deal to sign him long-term, or do they have to sign him knowing they're only going to get the 1 year? If they do the 1 year deal, it can't be a lot. It's got to be somebody like Grichuk. I hate to say it, but I think it's a Grichuk or Teoscar Hernandez situation. And then you kind of get to, what do they got in the system? And that's where Jordan Groshans fits in. You're going to have to give a good prospect. You're going to have to give a good major league talent, and then you get a Le Savage Gamer. I will subscribe to you when we're done on here. And anybody that's hanging out. Again, we're promoting everybody here. So it's got to be probably a top 10 prospect, maybe a top 5 prospect, and then from there a 10 to 15, 10 to 20 range. So that's probably where it goes for a Lindor trade. Let's see. What is the score in the USA versus Canada? Guys, let me know. What's the score? We need a score check. Is it still 1-0? Tim Thompson, how dumb was the Cubs trade? Well, it's really interesting. Knee-jerk reaction. Oh, it was awful. You're like, wait, you're giving up a Cy Young caliber pitcher for a bunch of 16-year-olds that you're not going to see playing in the major leagues until 2024 at the earliest? What are you doing? It was. I'm down on it from that angle, but here's the thing with Darvish is that he's going to be 35, right? He's in his mid-30s. He's making $20 million a year. So that kind of hurts your trade value. So the fact that they got 3 or 4, right, is actually not that bad. They got a lot back for a guy that's making a lot of money and really probably only has 1 or 2 good years left. So it's all right. It really isn't that bad. Knee-jerk reaction was, what is this? 16-year-olds for a Cy Young caliber guy? But I think it's all right. The Cubs are going to go in rebuild mode. They don't have to go. They honestly don't have to go that deep into rebuild mode because the NL Central, what are the Brewers right now? We know the Pirates are garbage. What are the Brewers? And what are the Cardinals? Those are really your two competition right there, right? What are the Cardinals? You know the Cardinals will be there. I don't see a world beater out of there. So if the Cubs were to actually hold on to everything they have now and maybe pick up a couple pieces, they could be in the mix again, even without Darvish. So we'll see how that goes. David, welcome in. Cubs are rebuilding. They just won't come out and say it. I mean, if they deal Bryant, that's it. It's over. Even if they trade Contreras, I wouldn't completely throw in the towel. But if Bryant's gone, yeah, for sure. Brewers don't know what they're doing. I think they're just chasing. Yes, they are. I don't know what. The Brewers have Christian Yelich. They let Moustakas go. They let Grandal go. They're pitching. They just can't seem to address the pitching. I don't know what the Brewers are doing. Hendriks to the White Sox. Very fair, Jacob. Very fair. That is, we were talking about that earlier. I think that it's sort of at this point with the Dodgers signing Treinen, we're probably looking at Blue Jays or White Sox as the lead dogs in that race for Liam Hendriks' services. Now, there could be a mystery team. There could be a team that pops up and decides to go for it. We are looking at probably about $15 million a year for Hendriks. Blue Jays certainly have that to spend. White Sox should be able to find that. They can't go into the season with the rotation they have and the lineup they have and not have the back of that bullpen shored up. That is for sure. So we were talking about Hendriks earlier. Let me get back to the chat. We are at the hour mark. Thank you everybody for being here. We're going to hang out for a little while longer. Usually we go for about 2 hours. We'll see how long we go. Again, you guys are going to sort of drive the chat. Thoughts on the Reds? I'm disappointed in the Reds. 77 Luke Duke. I think that if they deal Gray, they deal Suarez, they're just packing it in. You know, they don't seem to be in the right frame of mind. They gave away their closer, Raisel Iglesias. I'm kind of down on what the Reds are doing. Let's see, Tim. What about an Arenado trade? Well, the Arenado situation is sort of fascinating. It came like the first news was the Dodgers, right? Who was it from MLB? One of the MLB Network's analysts guaranteed that Nolan Arenado would be a Dodger by New Year's. Well, that was 5 days ago, and that's not happened. And there is absolutely no news in the wind of that happening. So the Arenado thing to the Dodgers looks like it's dead. I could see a trade to the Cardinals if the Cardinals want to take the step to let's run away with the Central, go trade for Arenado. That'd be a fair trade. The Rockies need to do something because with the Dodgers in the position they're in and the Padres in the position they're in, the Rockies are nowhere near competing. So just pack it in for a couple years, trade Arenado, and see what you can get. See what you can get for it. They're not in any position to win. They are the third or fourth team in that division. I would argue you could put the Giants ahead of the Rockies. You could put the Diamondbacks. The Rockies are the last place team in that division. They are the last place team in that division with Arenado. Trade them. Bottom line. That's just the way you got to go. The Diamondbacks are better. The Giants are better. The Padres are leaps and bounds better. And the Dodgers are maybe the best team in baseball. So they got to get rid of that. That Arenado thing just can't happen. He can't be there. They have to trade him. Let's see. What would you do if you're an Angels fan? Man, I would be praying for a pitcher, man, whether it's Trevor Bauer or they go out and, they see something nice from Kluber or go get Paxton or take a shot with Archer. They got to do something, make a trade, pick up the phone and call the Reds and get Sonny Gray, get Luis Castillo. The Angels they're wasting the money. They're wasting Mike Trout's career. They'll be wasting the money they spent on Trout and Arenado. Not Arenado, Rendon. So the Angels have to go get pitching. If I'm an Angels fan, I'm just praying for pitching. I don't maybe necessarily want Trevor Bauer. I don't know. But I want Sonny Gray. I want Luis Castillo. No doubt about it. See if you can go get both those guys. Give them Joe Adell. Joe Adell and a couple other pieces for Sonny Gray and Luis Castillo. Would they do that? That might not work, but go get one of those guys anyway. Go get one of them. That's for sure. What is your early prediction for the World Series? Everyone say what you say. Everybody in the chat, what do you like? What do you like for the World Series right now? I would go. I'd probably, if everyone's healthy and everyone performs up to their level, I think the Dodgers are coming out of the National League. And from the American League, boy, that's tough from the American League. I think the Yankees and Blue Jays will sort of be at the top of the East. The Central will probably be the Twins again. The West, Oakland will be there. Might be the Twins. Oh, my God. Did I just say it's the Dodgers and the Twins? Oh, my God. White Sox. White Sox. Thank you, BZ Baseball. I forgot about the White Sox. I'm going Dodgers and White Sox for the World Series. As a baseball fan, just a fan of the history of baseball, a quick, cheap plug. Hum Baby Baseball and myself, we did a Ken Burns baseball rewatch recap. Go back and check that out. Odd innings are on my channel. Even innings are on his channel. But as a fan of the history of the game, I think it would be really cool to see a Dodgers and Yankees World Series. We've come close to the last couple of years. The Astros ruined it for us a couple years ago. The Rays ruined it for us this year. I think it'd be cool to watch a Dodgers-Yankees World Series and the Dodgers spank the Yankees. I'm sorry, any Yankee fans that are in here. I'm a Toronto fan, so of course, right? That's the way I'm going. So that's what I'm thinking anyway. I think it's Joe, you agree. I think it is the Dodgers and the White Sox. Qualdrup won as a Braves fan. I'm hoping they don't sign Ozuna to a massive deal. What do you think is the next move for them? I do think they're going to be out on Ozuna. I'm kind of surprised we haven't heard the Braves name with some of the other bats. I think the Braves are probably similar to Ozuna's waiting to see if there's going to be a DH. The Braves might be waiting to see if there's going to be a DH as well. I got to think you want to give Austin Riley a chance. Maybe you think he's trash, but I think you want to give him a chance. I don't know. You got Pache, you got Waiters. There's some youth there that you don't want to just give them a low ceiling. You want to give them a chance. So I think Ozuna might only come back if the DH is back for that. So if I'm thinking about what the Braves move might be, next move, it's probably just going to be a bullpen piece. I don't want to make that sound like it's just a passive thing, but I think the next move is probably a bullpen piece. Ozuna is nice, just arm is bad. Yeah, and he's got that 30 homer potential. He's a great bat, but he's just not the same fielder he was. Word is that he's waiting to see if there's a DH. I think it gives him more options if there's a DH, right? I mean, again, you want to be able to play different parties against each other. You want to have more options when you're negotiating. Ozuna will have more options if the DH is out right there. Whole DH thing is slowing down the NL market, David. I agree. They said there's not going to be a DH, but I don't believe them. I think there will be. Now, I could be wrong. I believed that there would be a DH as a sort of a bargaining piece this year when they started talking about, maybe delaying the season and paying the players less and all that. But word out yesterday is it looks like Major League Baseball is going to move forward with the 162. They're going to start on time. They're going to do spring training on time. It looks like we're moving forward, and we don't have to worry about a 80 or a 100 game season or anything like that. So that's an interesting piece. Another interesting piece that came out today was about spring training, that AA and below their spring training will not start until the Major League and AAA teams have departed. So it's not going to be everybody in at one time. They're going to spread it out a little bit. You guys, a lot of talk about the DH. Robert doesn't like the DH. What do you guys think? Do you guys like the DH? Do you hate the DH? One, if you like no, let's do this. A W if you like the DH, and L if you hate the DH. Win. Is the DH a win or is the DH a loss? You guys, W or L? Jack, let's see. What makes more sense for the Jays to trade for a big deal, the Reds or the Indians? Well, here's the thing. Lindor is going to be 27 or 28. He's going to cost a lot of money, $30 million a year, probably $35 million a year. Gray gives you the pitching. Suarez is a great bat at third base. I mean, Suarez, I think, is underestimated, undervalued. And he's only got about $10 million on the books for the next 4 years. So a very team-friendly deal for Eugenio Suarez. And Sonny Gray, the same. You could get Gray and Suarez for the same amount of money that you'll have to pay Lindor. So from a front office perspective, I probably do a trade with the Reds. If I'm giving up similar pieces, to the Reds, I want Suarez and Gray. If I can do that, if I'm giving up, 2 prospects and a major league ready guy, really just depends on what the Reds are looking to give up. Lindor is going to cost like 25. I think he's going to be more. I think he's going to be 30 to 35. I think he is going to be Rendon money. I think he is going to be Harper money. I think he's going to be I think it's going to be 10 years. I think he's going to be one of those lifetime contracts for an insane amount of money. That's what I think. The chat seems to be about split. We got a lot of W's and L's on the DH, and the W's we got a lot of W's. We got some very enthusiastic W's for the chat. I think it's about split, maybe leaning towards a pro NL DH chat room right now. Rod, Jays versus Padres in the World Series. I think that'd be a fantastic World Series. That would be a fun World Series. That World Series would mean, let's talk about it. If the Blue Jays make the World Series, that means Vladdy probably got the ball in the air and hit 30 homers, 25 to 30 homers. Bo had a coming out party. Cavan established himself as one of the best elite leadoff guys. And Pearson stepped up. If the Blue Jays get to the World Series, that means it all kind of comes together, and that's exciting stuff. Christopher Gambino, as a Yankees fan, I'm disappointed. However, I feel like they will re-sign DJ. If they don't, they may get pitching, a rental shortstop, and then possibly a name like Seager or Lindor next year. Very well put. Very well put, Christopher. I agree 100%. I do think that they will ultimately re-sign DJ, and if they don't, go spend that money that you would have spent on DJ, spend it on pitching, bring in Simeon or bring in Didi for a year or two. And then, right, you got Story coming up. If the Indians don't work out a trade for Lindor, or Lindor does get traded but doesn't sign anywhere, you could see Lindor on the market. So sure. Sure. I could certainly see the Yankees do that. That's very good. Very well put. Very well thought. Let's see. We got White Sox versus Dodgers, talking World Series. I think you're pretty close. Tim, be careful. Be careful. A lot of Blue Jays fans in here. It might seem like there aren't, because there's not a lot of Blue Jay with thumbnails or avatars or names, but we got a lot of Blue Jay fans in here. So tread carefully, Tim. Tread carefully. A lot of Jays fans hanging out in here. Rod likes the DH. I like the DH too. Let's see. Tim, did we get who was your team? I'm trying to, I think you might have mentioned it earlier. I don't remember who your team is, Tim. Tim, let me know who your team is. We're not going to pick on you, Tim. Nobody pick on Tim. Who's his team? Let's see. Jacob, what do the Brewers need to do to compete in an up for grabs division? That's a good question. Jacob, pitching. I think pitching and maybe a bat. And there's some bats there. Doesn't have to be an elite bat, but go get Ozuna and go take a flyer on Archer and Shoemaker. Maybe get Happ. There's pieces there for the Brewers to compete for sure. Tim is a White Sox fan. You have a lot to look forward to this year, Tim. I tell you that. I love the White Sox. I love that. Yasmani Grandal Yasmani's there, right? I think he's there. He's one of my favorite catchers in all of baseball. Robert's exciting. I love Abreu. Tim Anderson. I came around on Tim Anderson this year. I didn't like him until 2020. I don't know what it was, but I like him. I'm a fan of Tim Anderson. So, and Lucas Giolito seems like a good dude. Turned his career around. You got to love that. Somebody that's facing adversity. Looks like the career might be over before it gets started, and he pulled it together. Lucas Giolito. So good stuff for the White Sox. Good, White Sox are good. Let's see. Danny, let's say Yanks do re-sign LeMahieu. Do you think Yanks trade for Lindor or Luis Castillo even? So if they re-sign LeMahieu, I don't think a Lindor situation happens. Now, if the Yankees don't bring LeMahieu back, I think it makes them potential suitors for a Lindor trade. And they could certainly trade for Luis Castillo. They have the pieces in the system to go do a Luis Castillo trade right now. They could do that. And again, it's LeMahieu. And if they don't get LeMahieu, they will be suitors to pull off a Francisco Lindor trade. As a Jays fan, I would hate that. I would actually rather the Yankees re-sign LeMahieu than go and trade for Francisco Lindor. And it's just the way I feel. I'm sure some of my Jays fans might agree. If you could pick who the Yankees get, would you rather them get LeMahieu or Lindor? Let's see. Robert, I like Tony as the White Sox manager. That's going to be a very interesting situation. Tony La Russa, old school guy, just an old guy. Sorry, as the manager of a young team, it's going to be very interesting. Let's see. Would Lindor be cheaper than Baez? No, I think Baez is very flashy. I think Baez has more value with the Cubs than he does if he were to just insert somewhere else. I actually like to see Baez with the Yankees, but I could see the Yankees fans just jumping on Baez when he goes through a stretch and he hits 150 for a month. That's the problem. Lindor won't do Lindor. If Francisco Lindor does that, it'll be a blip. It'll be for a couple weeks, and then he'll be back. Baez goes on these terrible just tears of awfulness where he's hitting 150, 110. It's just not good. So I would. Yeah, I don't know about Baez. A lot in the chat here. Thank you guys. This is good chat situation going on here. Good conversation, talking a lot about Lindor, Baez. Thank you guys for being in here. Just some shout outs. David Knight, thank you for being here. Kalua Z, thank you for being here. Seeger, thank you for being here. Christopher, thank you. Tim, Kyle, Nathan. We got a lot of you guys in here right now. Thank you. If you're Carl, Baez is overrated. You could say that. You could say it. I think he has a very strong fan base, but he has had some big time struggles in with the bat. Let's see here. But again, thank you guys for hopping in. Anybody that might be here just hanging out in the background, drop us a line. What do you think? The chat, you guys are running the conversation right now. Baez is good, not great. He's good, not great, but he has flashes of greatness. And that's what's going to get him paid. But that is also what's going to drive whatever fan base he goes to crazy. That's the thing about the Cubs. It's the Midwest. Generally the Midwest is a little more accepting of that kind of situation than New York or LA would be. I think Baez should try to stay with the Cubs or maybe go to the Cardinals or land in Cleveland. Cleveland's not spending any money, so that's not going to happen. But that's sort of the, Baez is a very interesting situation. Yes, free swinger for sure. Tim, imagine cheering for the Astros. We've had some Astros fans in here. We've had some very good conversation. Nathan is an Astros fan. We're not, listen, the fans were not out there beating on the garbage cans. Okay. It was the players. So we're not going to crush any of the fans. I do not like Carlos Correa. Don't one bit. Do not like Jose Altuve. Not one bit. I'm coming around on Springer, but maybe that's because he might be a Blue Jay. But, even Springer was making me angry. But again, like I said, we're not picking on anybody. The Astros fans, again, they were not out there beating the garbage cans. It was an intern and the coaching staff and Beltran and all that. Anyway, let's see. You know what numbers were thrown at Springer by the Jays? What I've heard is about 5 for 125 is what I have heard. And that is, I'm looking at the same stuff you guys are looking at. Maybe I spend more time with it because I'm just, when I'm not doing this, I'm a stay-at-home dad. And when I'm not watching the kids, I've got the alerts on the phone so I can be more in tune to some of it maybe. But it sounds like it's about 5 for 125 is what they've thrown at him, or 5 for 150. Something in that range is what they're thrown at. La Savage Gamer, take it easy, buddy. So that's kind of the money that they're talking about for Springer. I think he wants more than that. Does anyone sign for more than $20 million a year? Probably. I think Bauer can get more than 20. I think Bauer, LeMahieu, Springer can all get over 20. I don't know if anybody else can. Let's see here. D'Arcy, why isn't this stuff on my timeline? I follow everybody. It's all over. I mean, it's, stay close to rotoworld.com. They sort of aggregate a lot of the stuff on Twitter, a lot of the stuff from the beat writers and everybody. There's a lot of different players, a lot of different locations. Let's see. What's the score over there, USA versus Canada? Last we heard it was 1-0. It was in the second period. I have a feeling we're probably creeping up on the third period. I guess I could look myself. I do have a tablet here. I do have an iPad. What channel is it on? Anybody have YouTube TV? YouTube TV for sports is clutch. YouTube TV is incredible for sports. I'm trying to find the hockey game match. Where is it? What channel is it on? Anybody? Where is it? 2-0 USA still. Right on. Let's see. Let's have a game. Do I have Discord? I had a buddy have me download it and install it, and I don't. I haven't used it. I think I have an account. I just haven't used it. TSN and NHL Network. Let's see here. I'm not seeing NHL Network. I do want to see what happens. Anybody that, fan of hockey, shout out to one of my buddies. He's not in here right now because he's probably watching the game. He might be doing a stream. Wardy, NHL. He also does Mets, Wardy, NYM. Good NHL follow. Doesn't look like I have access to either of those networks. So I'm going to count on you guys to give me the updates. I didn't think YouTube TV was available in Canada. I don't know if it is or not. I am in Maryland. So I do not, and YouTube TV does not have NHL Network. So there it is. You could do a live Discord with your fans. I didn't know that. Still learning a lot here. Anybody that might be new to this, real quick, you guys are more important. I'll do a plug in a second. Speaking of Turner, I could actually see him with the Jays, like Donaldson Part 2, maybe. But I think, Turner has maybe 1 or 2 good years left, and then I worry that the whole Turner situation, it's just gonna collapse. It's just gonna collapse. That's what I worry about. That's what I worry about there. 19 minutes left in the third period. Okay. All right. So yeah. Anybody that is in here hanging out, give a like if you are just checking it out, or if you've been hanging out for a few minutes and haven't yet, make sure you give a like. Make sure you sub this baseball community that we're building here, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. If you are just getting in here and you want me to talk about, or you missed any of the talk about the free agent news, the Yankees offseason disappointment so far, Sagano, Blue Jays, if you are just getting in here and you want me to jump back, let me know. Right now, what we're doing, we're sort of in the extra innings portion of this, where I'm letting the chat room run the conversation. Let's see. Taijuan Walker coming back to the Jays. I like that. And it should not cost a lot of money. I would like to see him back for sure. That'd be a nice move. There was a lot of talk about that early on, and then that just died. I'm sure there's a reason for that. But right about the time when they signed Robbie Ray, they were also talking about Taijuan Walker, and then it just died. And we haven't heard anything. Should the Jays go after JT Realmuto? I don't think so. I think JT Realmuto will become an option for the Jays if they lose out on LeMahieu, if they lose out on Springer, if they lose out on Bauer. Then I think the Blue Jays could go after JT Realmuto. Jerry, talk about the Dodgers free agency options. So the Dodgers at this point, the bullpen is pretty secure. I got to think that that Jerry, you'd probably agree with me there, that the bullpen is pretty secure. It is third base, and I mean that might be it. The team feels pretty solid. I don't think you don't need to do anything with the starters. You get Treinen back in there, so the bullpen is pretty secure. It's really just third base, and it's a matter of, do you address it with the free agent? Now, third base free agency, it's that pool of players is pretty limited. It's Justin Turner. He's kind of leading the way there, and then a bunch of guys that I don't think you're too secure about. That's why you've heard all these trade rumors about Suarez, or Bryant, or Arenado, because the third base player pool in the free agency market is not very deep. So I think that they're either going to bring Turner back if they can get that asking price down, because 4 years is too much. They might bring him back at a couple of years, or maybe they pick up the phone and make a trade. I mean, the Reds with Eugenio Suarez in that lineup would be dangerous. Would be dangerous. Jack, who spends more money by the end of the offseason, Jays or Mets? Well, that's it. You can look at that two different ways, Jack. The Blue Jays are starting lower, so they could maybe spend more this offseason, but the Mets could still have a higher payroll. They might end up ultimately spending about the same, because the Blue Jays are not going to shoot up to $160 million. That's a fun scenario that we played out last week, but it's just not going to happen. So I think ultimately it's probably going to be about the same. Jerry, you are welcome. Thank you for hopping in. Toma, I think these free agents are a bit overrated, especially with next year's potential crop. Let the New York teams overpay. I mean, Springer's nice. Let's forget about the whole garbage can thing. Let's forget about that for a second. Like Springer, like everybody loves Springer, and he was great when he came up. He was awesome. DJ LeMahieu, I'll give you this. You're really not that far off, Toma. I want to put you up there real quick. You're not that far off, because prior to DJ having these one season plus a 60-game season in New York, he was an afterthought. No doubt about it. He was not a top priority guy. He was an afterthought. And Trevor Bauer, I'm not a big Trevor Bauer guy. I just think there's too many things going on there. It's not his personality. There's just too many things going on there. I wouldn't do it for the money. So you're not that far off, honestly. It's probably a lot of B's and C's, and some of the B's are a little bit more glorified. I don't know, but you make a good point. Let's see here. Ozuna to the Astros. I think that'd be a nice piece. I think they need that. Now, you're going to have a situation where the young kid, I'm blanking on the name, Alvarez, he's got bad knees. Alvarez needs that DH spot. So you can have two guys that are left fielders but can't play left field all the time. That could be trouble. Nathan. Let's see here. What are your thoughts on, this is from Matthew, what are your thoughts on Michael Brantley to the Jays? Yeah, I think that's great. But Michael Brantley, they're going to wait on Michael Brantley until they figure out what's going on with DJ and Springer. Michael Brantley, now maybe they move on Brantley if they feel like the price is right and they're sick of waiting and they're trying to send a statement to those guys. I mean, we saw this Blue Jay front office get really impatient with Edwin Encarnacion a few years ago where they were like, you know what, forget it. You're not going to make a quick decision. We're going to go out and get Pierce and some other guys. So, the Blue Jays were an impatient bunch a few years ago. Seems that has changed because here we are on January 5th and they haven't made a big splash. And there are other guys that could have gotten, other guys that they've been linked to, but they haven't made the move. All right. So, again, you guys, good questions in here. Good stuff. Again, thank you for being here. We got Rod. We got Robert. We got Kalua. Carl's here. Joe's here. Nathan's here. Kyle, Ivan, D'Arcy. Thank you guys for all hanging out and talking. Brantley with the Braves. I mean, they have to replace that bat. They need to. They need to. I'll put it this way: they're in an interesting situation. Ozuna was a big part of that lineup. Right now, he's gone. Maybe he comes back, but you got probably a question mark over Austin Riley. You got a question mark over guys like Pache and Waters. It's Waters or Waiters. You got question marks over those guys because, you saw Riley come up. He was awesome. Then it fell apart. He was okay last year. Steady, not great. And then the rookies. You never know what you're going to get with the rookies. So do they just hope it works with one of those guys? The Braves are in an interesting situation. Now with the pitching staff that they have and the rest of that lineup, they can maybe take a flyer and see what happens. I also think there's going to be a lot of guys that are available. Still, the free agent period is going to stretch into spring training. We all know this, right? It's happened the last couple of years, and there wasn't a pandemic. There wasn't a money revenue stream problem for these teams. You've had free agents heading into spring training. It's going to happen again. And that's going to benefit some of these teams. The Braves, maybe they don't make a move now, but they make a move in spring when they, somebody gets hurt or, Christian Pache can't hit a curveball or something in spring training. There's moves to be made. All right. Let's see. Riley can't start. Right. Yes, Robbie. I mean, he's got something to work on. Let's see. Topic, Astros fan in the house. Again, we talked about it earlier. Welcome in. Astros fans are welcome here. Why are you not talking about Robbie Grossman? Well, we did talk about Robbie Grossman, and thank you for bringing that up. I hope you're still here. If you're still here, let me know. We did talk about Robbie Grossman. I've even got the proof. This was at the beginning. So Robbie Grossman, a nice addition for the Tigers. 2 years, $10 million. Not bad. Projected to go 50 runs, 9 home runs, 42 RBI, 9 steals, and that slash line. I don't need to read it to you. I know you guys can read. But that was based on about a 400-game projection. So with Detroit, he's probably going to get that 400 at-bat. That was based on a 400 at-bat situation. He's probably going to get 600 at-bats with the Tigers. So this is going to go up. Robbie Grossman is a nice piece. Little Robbie Grossman talk for you guys. Again, like I said, if you hop in here late, or if you're just hopping in and you see the lineup and you're wondering why are they not talking about the free agents? Why are they not talking about Yankees or Sugano or whatever? Holler out into the chat. I will get to you. Topic. Nothing wrong. Houston fans are all good. Houston fans, you're welcome here. You guys aren't the ones banging the garbage cans. It's all good. Houston fans are welcome here. Let's see. It's a good open environment for everybody. I'm a Blue Jays fan, and I encourage Yankee fans to be here. I don't hate. I do hate Jose Altuve, though. Sorry. Not a big fan. Let's see. Braves need one lefty power bat like Jock Peterson or Kyle Schwarber. That'd be a nice move. That'd be a great move. And there's a chance both of those guys will still be hanging out there when spring training starts. That's real. Bauer going to Anaheim, as much as I want him in San Diego. I think that's probably that makes the most sense. That doesn't mean that's what he's going to do, but that makes the most sense. RC, am I in Baltimore? Is that a question for me? I'm outside of Baltimore. I am in the Annapolis, Maryland area. Can Tatis stay healthy for 162 from Roberts? I mean, can anybody stay healthy for 162? He's young. I think he's got a few years of staying healthy. I think so. I like Jock to the Braves too from Leo. That's a good move. That's a nice thought. Where does Liam Hendriks go? We were talking about that for a few minutes earlier again. Thank you for bringing that up. Coming into a couple hours ago, these were the three teams that had really established themselves for Liam Hendriks services. I think the Dodgers are out now that they re-signed Blake Treinen. So it's probably between the Blue Jays and the White Sox. Both of those teams need closers. Both of those teams want to be aggressive and make a playoff run. So they need to have a secure back of the bullpen. So I think it's probably between the Blue Jays and the White Sox at this point. Let's see. Keep them coming. Again, if you have any questions, anything that you see in the lineup, but we're not getting to now, fire the question away. We'll get to it. Let's see. What is your ideal offseason for the Jays? I want one or two more pitchers. I would like them to get one more bat. That's what I would like. And it can be in a big name. I want a big splash. I want to trade for Lindor or LeMahieu or Springer, and then I want them to go do some pitching, make some pitching moves. And I don't need them to get Bauer. I think they could take a shot with Kluber and Paxton, or Archer, or there's a lot of those names that I'd be very happy with adding some depth to the rotation. There's my little rant on Jays offseason. Let's see here. Is Baltimore a nice city? It can be. It can be. It can be a beautiful city at times and in spots, and it can be not so much. But it is. I do like Baltimore. I haven't gotten up there, obviously, with the pandemic, but even before the pandemic, wasn't really getting up there that much. I used to work up in Baltimore for a radio station, and since I went there every day for like 5 or 6 years or 7 years, I just stay away now because I got sick of it. Anyway, let's see. Liam Hendriks to the Dodgers. I don't know. I don't think they're gonna. That would mean $35 million in the closer. Mets should sign Jock Peterson. That'd be a good move. Let me catch up on some of the old comments here. Toma, where's the Sugano news coming from? Is it confirmed he's going back to Japan? That's what we're hearing. I have been in here for the last hour and a half, so I haven't seen exactly what the Sugano is, but there was some talk early in the chat from Kyle and Kyle's a trusted source, that Sugano was going back to Japan. Let's keep it going. What are your thoughts on Kyle Tucker? I think Kyle Tucker was a blessing to sort of blossom in 2020 for the Astros. And I think that only bodes well for them. That's huge for them as they're losing. What just happened here? Sorry, guys. I just lost my camera. I'm going to try to figure this out. While I'm figuring this out, let's see. What were we talking about? We were talking about Kyle Tucker. Yeah, Kyle Tucker is a nice piece, and I think somebody that, again, worked out really well. There we go. We're back. I don't know what that was. Strange. Kyle Tucker was great for the Astros. It was great that he showed up and he performed. Kyle Tucker is very good. All right, let's get down. USA. Let's see here. What do we got? What's happening? Somebody tell me what's going on. Yeah, topic 2. I'm sorry. Yeah, I lost the camera. The camera went out on me. It was strange. Let's see. Puig to Yankees rumors. I just don't know why Puig would want to go to the Yankees. I don't know why the Yankees would want him, honestly. I just don't know it. Let's see. Do we have a USA win? I know they were in the third quarter. Let me know where we're at with USA and Canada. Let's see here. Yeah, just let me know what's going on with that. Anybody that's hanging out here is new to the channel. Please take a moment, hit the like on the video, subscribe to the channel. It's a nice baseball community that we're building here. I have a lot of fun doing it. We have a nice group of guys in the chat here. Hey, come on in. If you haven't subscribed, topic 2, welcome. If you subscribe, give you a little shout out, ask me a question. If you're creating content, let me know. We'll give you a shout out for any content creators. We got 2-0 in the third, halfway through the third, right? All right. Thank you for the like. Appreciate that. Let's see. Mets should bring Justin Turner. Bring back Justin Turner to play third base. I mean, that could work. They need a bat. I think they need a bat. Let's see here. Springer going to Boston. Well, I mean, listen, I know they're in the running for him. Boston wants to get back, right? But I think it's out there that the Blue Jays and the Mets are sort of the lead for him. So we'll see what happens there. Let's see here. Darvish will be the opening day starter for San Diego. It's actually a good question. Who's the opening day? Do they go Darvish or do they go Snell? That's a great question. I would think that's a great question. You could go either way. Let's see. $50 million on a 30. Well, I mean, here's the thing, Toma. I think you got a couple more good years coming from Hendriks, but what you also have is you have $20 million sunk into Kenley Jansen. So that's $35 million for the closer role. So unless I can find somebody to take Jansen's salary, he's the highest paid closer in baseball, highest paid reliever in baseball. I don't see it happening. We got some Snell. Padres fans, any Padres fans that are in here, who do you want to be your opening day starter? I mean, at the end of the day, it's sort of more just a prestigious thing, right? It's not really going to matter at the end of the day. It's 1 out of 162. But who do you want to be your opening day starter? Who do you want out there on day one? Snell or Darvish? Let's see here. What else do we got? Thank you, guys. Johnny, Blue Jays are not signing anyone. They just want to be out there. I think they're going to sign somebody, Johnny. But we'll see who. They're ready to make the move. Let's see what else, guys. Lamet from Orioles. Welcome in, Orioles. Lamet was very nice last year, but I just think the symbolism of putting Darvish or Snell out there are important. Jansen overpowers hitters with a 91-mile-an-hour cutter. His style is just not as fast as it used to be. He's not as fast. He's not throwing as many strikes. He's not the guy. Kenley Jansen's not going to post a ERA of 1.89. He's going to give you a 3.35, which means he's going to be blowing some saves. I give to Lamet better stuff of the two. I mean, he might, Austin, he might have better stuff, but the thing is, again, it's the symbolism of Snell and Darvish. I think you give it to one of those two. Sonny Gray to San Diego. I don't think San Diego is doing any more moves, though I do think whoever gets Sonny Gray should be able to get him. He's not a lot of money and shouldn't cost that much if we're basing the Raisel Iglesias trade as sort of the benchmark for what they're willing to take back for their players. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see. Again, you guys are running the chat now. Where is Puig going? Classical Revolution, thank you for the question. So we talked about Puig a little bit earlier. A lot of teams in on Puig. Marlins, Red Sox, Astros, Yankees, Orioles seem to be the 5 right now that are linked to him. I personally, I see him going to the Marlins or the Orioles on a 1 or 2 year deal. I think if he ends up in Boston or Houston or New York, it's probably a 2 or 3 year deal. And I think just if he wants to go out there and show that he's a 30 homer guy, that he can drive in 100 runs or score 100 runs, depending on where he is in the lineup, I really feel like Puig goes to the Orioles or the Marlins to show what he's got and then try to get a big payday. That's kind of what I think he's going to do. If he goes to New York or Houston or Boston on a 2 or 3 year deal, he's going to be getting a salary that is representative of what he's done lately. And what he's done lately, he didn't play last year because right after he signed, he had a positive COVID test, and then that was it. Those Dodger years, the good ones, were fun, right? Those were some fun years. He's going to be entering his age, let me get this right, his age 30 season. So a 1 year deal, show me what you got, be incredible, then he could sign a 5 year deal. If he signs a 2 or 3 year deal coming off of what he's been lately, he's not going to get as much money. So I have a feeling of these teams. I know I'm going on a big old Puig rant here, but I think he goes to the Marlins or Orioles, shows what he's got, and then maybe he goes to the Red Sox the year after on a bigger deal. Just, the age comes into play here. What he's done lately comes into play here. That's just my opinion. And again, think about the money situation this year in baseball. Once fans are back in the stadiums, let's say by the end of the year, we got full stadiums. Let's just dream and live in that scenario for a minute. We got full stadiums. We're all going to baseball games. It's awesome. And baseball organizations can start projecting for, full pockets, full revenue, full profits. Puig can make more money next year. Puig just seems like a guy that'll do a 1 or 2 year deal. And that leads me to believe it'll be Marlins or Orioles, maybe Astros, maybe. Let's see here. So that's what I'm thinking there. All right, let's get back to the chat. Don't sleep on Bryant going to San Diego, his hometown. I'm talking about Chris Bryant. I don't know. Bryant, I don't know if he would sign after that just because of the money the Padres are getting into right now. So how much would the Padres give up? That's the only thing. That would be the only thing that would make me think twice about Chris Bryant to the Padres. Ozuna to DC. That'd be nice. Washington, if Washington can get one more pitcher and one more bat, I think that Washington's in a good spot. I think Washington's in a very good spot if they can do that. Ozuna could be the bat, and the pitcher could be Kluber. If Kluber's got his stuff, that would be just fine. That would be great. Let's see. Dodgers more likely from Jaras to sign Bryant. I actually like that. I do like that. I like Bryant to the Dodgers. And I think that if the Dodgers do pull off that trade, that they need to sign him. Don't let him get to free agency, because Chris Bryant in that Dodgers lineup, wherever he is, he could be hitting anywhere in that lineup, and he's going to have somebody great hitting in front of him, getting on base to drive in, and behind him to drive him in. And he'll see more pitches. Chris Bryant with the Dodgers, I think, makes all the sense in the world. The Dodgers need to get him and pay him. That's my feeling on that. Can Yordan stay healthy? I hope so. He's got so much power, so much promise. Plus, just not to nerd out on anybody, but I've got a keeper. I've got him as a keeper in my fantasy baseball team. I would like to have Yordan Alvarez be there. Kyle, most valuable baseball card you own? I've got a few good ones. I've got a few good rookie cards. I haven't checked the price on a lot of them. I've got a Cal rookie card. I got a Vladdy auto this year. I like that one. I went and got a Vladdy autograph. I've got a Mike Schmidt rookie card, but it's in rough shape. I mean, the card's from like the 60s. It's in rough shape. So yeah, little baseball card talk there, but that's the deal there. Let's see. Bryant, well, here's the thing. Bryant's had some nagging injuries, Joe. I just think there's a resurgence coming. He was so bad in 2020, but he wasn't that bad in 2019. If you put 2019 Chris Bryant in a 2021 Dodgers lineup, he's going to be getting MVP votes. That's going to happen. If Chris Bryant from 2019 is in a 2021 Dodgers lineup, he'll have an amazing year. He should want to do it. He should be calling the owner and the GM and everybody that he can. He should be going on social media and just talking about how much he wants out. Just get to LA. Chris Bryant with the Dodgers would be incredible. Amazing baseball player Sagano. No, he did not. He did not just sign with the Jays. He's going back to Japan. Let's see. Injured in 2019. Seager was off in 2019. Right. Injuries. Exactly. Let's see. Johnny, Dodgers number 3 stud is a third baseman. Cody Hosey. Right. So Hosey is an interesting piece, but Hosey is a couple years away. That's where the Turner thing, if Turner wants 4 years, that's nuts. There's not a lot of teams that are going to be in the Turner sweepstakes. So if you give Turner 4 years in the National League where you might not have the DH, so he's stuck at third base and you pay him a lot of money and you block Cody Hosey, like the Justin Turner situation makes no sense right now. Makes absolutely no sense. A trade for Chris Bryant might require the Dodgers to give up Cody Hosey. Cody Hosey may not make it, right? He hasn't played in any of the elevated levels down in the minors yet. And he's, he's a prospect. Anybody who's watched the channel knows my feelings on prospects. I deal them. Unless they're a top 5 or top 10 in all of baseball, I'm trading them. I'm trading them for the proven product. Let's see. Was Yielik's 2020 season a fluke? I think he gets back. I think 2021 can be a great year for Christian Yelich. There are so many guys that need a mulligan from 2020, whether because they got injured or hurt and tried to play through it, or they weren't there mentally, or they didn't have enough time to get out of a slump. They only played 60 games. Chris Bryant didn't have time to get out of his slump. Baez didn't have time to get out of the slump. JD Martinez didn't have time to get out of the slump. Rafael Devers didn't have time to get these guys that, players go on slumps that can last a month, 3 weeks. The 2020 season was 8 weeks long, was 2 months long. So that's so many guys need a mulligan from 2020. And I'm giving it to them. I'm giving everybody a mulligan for 2020 just for that fact. For that fact. You got guys that are awful in the first half, great in the second half, but that's okay because you get a first in the second half. You didn't get that last year. I'm giving everybody a mulligan. Who's Bauer signing with? Lawrence, if I had to put money on it, I would say he is going to go to the Angels. I think they have the motivation to sign him. I think they have the money to sign him. So I would give it to the Angels. Do I think Gary Sanchez is washed? I don't think he's a good catcher. I think if you could DH him, that'd be one thing, but he's so young to be thrown at the DH spot. And right now the DH spot is Stanton. So Gary Sanchez might not make sense in New York anymore. Get Derek Jeter on the phone, make a trade. and go get Gary Sanchez. Get him out of New York. Get him down to Florida. Now, again, you can't DH him with Miami, but that's my thought there. Austin, thoughts on Bauer and the Blue Jays rumor? Austin, thank you for that one. So there's so many Bauer rumors, it's hard to even go in any direction. I worry about Trevor Bauer because he's a 9-year pro. 7 of those years he's posted an ERA over 4. Last year, it was a 60-game season, so he didn't have – we're talking about guys that didn't have a full season to get right. He didn't have a full season to fall off, right? So I don't know. I did miss a super chat. I think I see there was – did we get a super chat? We did. Enoch, so do you like what the Padres gave up for Snell or Darvish? And thank you for that. I think the Padres did a great job with those trades. 1,000%. Getting Darvish for a bunch of 16-year-olds. Getting Snell for now. I feel like they gave up a little bit more for Snell. It feels like, but all of the prospects that they gave for Darvish were outside of the top 10, and for Snell they only gave up 1 or 2. So they were able to really, really pull off a nice trade for both of those guys. They kept their system intact. I'm going to be very intrigued to see the prospect ranking by Baseball America when we get to them releasing their 2021 rankings to see where the Padres are. How did they hold on? Because they held on to Gore, they held on to Abrams, they held on to a bunch of guys. So I think the Padres are in great shape. Enoch, thank you for that question. Thank you for that. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. We have a lot of comments. Let's see. We got, why is nobody signing? It's been slow. I know it's been slow. Let's see. Bauer on the Angels won't be good from Johnny. They need to do something. They haven't been able to trade for the pitching. They've got a decent offense. They have to address the pitching, whether it's Bauer and then they go get Kluber and Paxton or something like that. They have to do something for sure. World Junior Champions, baby. It's over. USA wins. USA. Right on. Didn't seem like it was, again, I was getting to the score updates here. It was 1-0 early, right? And then it was 2-0. They had a little bit of a cushion. Anybody that was watching, it doesn't seem like it was, you had to sweat it out. It doesn't seem like. Again, I couldn't watch it. Don't have TSN. I'm not in Canada, and I don't have the NHL Network. I'm surprised that the NBC Sports Network didn't get that. Steel Badger, Mike Trout needs a ring before he even thinks about retiring. Yes. Come on, Angels, spend the money. Go get Trevor Bauer. Go get Corey Kluber. Let's get some Mike Trout playoff games. Please. Please. Mets should trade Cano. They can't. No one's going to take that salary. No one's going to take that mess right now. They can't do it. Cano is ranking in the winter leagues. Of course he is. He's been using a banned substance. Do you think the Cubs should blow it up or keep the team and try for minor improvements from Thunder Dude? They have a chance. They could get the wild card out of that Central. They could win the Central. The Central's still up for grabs if they hold on to everything they have now. David Ross. Think about David Ross. He signs to be the coach last year, and then 2020 happens, and they come out of it, and now they're dumping Schwarber, a team leader. They're trading Darvish. They're talking about trading Bryant and Baez and Contreras. David Ross, Major League Baseball jobs are hard to come by. There's not too many of them out there. He's got one, but he can't feel good about it. It's not the job he took. Now you got Boog Shambi going over there to broadcast these games. I'm sure he wants something better to talk about. So I think the Cubs, if they just made some minor moves, maybe bring back Lester on a better deal. They haven't ruled out bringing Schwarber back. Bring him back at a more favorable deal. There's a couple other pieces that are out there that the Cubs could. Now, Do they have a World Series team, a championship team? Probably not, but they do have a team that could compete. I think that is for sure. Lawrence, thoughts on where DJ ends up? Ultimately, I think it ends up being with the Yankees. That's what I think is going to happen. And then some dominoes will fall from there. Ultimately, I think he ends up with the Yankees. But I know the Mets and the Blue Jays and the Dodgers are in there. I'd like it to be the Blue Jays. Griffey didn't play many playoff games, very few. I know, and that was awful. That is one of the most disappointing aspects of the 90s, is that Griffey didn't play in more playoff games. One of the most exciting, beloved moments in Major League Baseball playoff history is Griffey, right? Griffey rounds 30, he's heading for home. That's one of our greatest moments, and he's in it. But again, that was going to advance to the ALCS. That's the thing. Griffey, the Cincinnati thing was a mistake. Seattle got better right after Griffey left, it seems. The Cincinnati thing was a mistake. He went there because the ties with his dad. But the Griffey thing, that was a bummer. Angels should trade Trout. Not going to happen. He's going to retire an Angel. But I see your point. I do get your point, Johnny. Let's see here. Amazing Baseball Plays has an Instagram. Amazing. Are you a sub? I can't remember if you subbed or not. If you're subbing, again, I'm all about promoting people, growing people. I'm trying to grow. Anyone in here that's trying to grow, let me know. Amazing is doing some things on Instagram if you want to check it out. Let's see. Mets should trade for Harper from Philly. It's going to be interesting with Bryce Harper and that Philly situation. It's not a tradable contract. That's right. But if the Phillies don't bring back Real Muto and they start going the other way that quickly, what happens with Bryce Harper? He does not want to be in Philly if there's not going to be any winning. That's a developing situation, is Bryce Harper and Philly. Any Philly fans that are here, are you nervous about losing Bryce Harper in a year or two if this thing goes south? Because he's not going to want to be there. He didn't sign until 2030 to not win. No way. Let's see here. How would the Mets trade for Harper? Right. I mean, it's a money thing. There would have to be money going back the other way. Some expiring contracts almost going to Philly. And they'd have to give up some pieces. It happened before. The Blue Jays got rid of Vernon Wells' salary. It's happened before. We've seen it. Nobody wants Harper's deal, right? I mean, not right now. Not right now. I think Bryce Harper's still a good player. Give it a couple years. Maybe Philly eats some of the salary. They could work out a deal. And remember, we're talking about his salary, the deal he signed. I'm going to pull it up while we're talking about it, because the deal he signed, remember, was a big deal for that time. That was for a couple years ago. It has since been surpassed, and it will be surpassed again and again, to the point where in 4 or 5 years, when he's 32, his contract's going to be tough to swallow, but it's not insane. And here's the other thing about the Bryce Harper contract, okay? It's $26 million a year for the next from age 28 to age 35. It's $26 million a year. Then age 36, 37, and 38, it's actually down at $22 million. By the time we get to 2029 and 2028, $26 million a year isn't going to be that much. Now, again, that's like 5 or 6 years away. We're talking about, does Bryce Harper get traded in the next couple of years? But you can start to see the economics of this, to where that salary, when he signed it, was crazy. But it's not going to stay crazy. In a couple of years, you could see a Harper trade. It's not going to happen this year or next year or the year after. But after that, if the Phillies aren't winning, I could see it happen. Amazing. You're welcome. No problem there. No problem for the shout out. Again, I'm trying to grow. I understand if you're trying to grow. Let me know. I'll give you a push. Lawrence, who lands Francisco Lindor? I think the Lindor trade happens after Springer and LeMahieu sign. I think those deals have to happen because if LeMahieu goes to Toronto or the Mets or the Dodgers and Springer correspondingly goes to the Mets or the Blue Jays, then all of a sudden the Yankees could be in on Lindor. If the Blue Jays miss out on Springer and LeMahieu, they could be in on Lindor. The Lindor situation really depends on where the free agents go because I don't think a trade happens until guys that you can get without giving up pieces are available. It could be another Pujols, but it's not. Are we still talking about Harper? It's not. And hear me out. Again, let's say Philly takes some of the money. That's one thing. But the deal for Harper, he signed that deal really young. The first year of that deal, he's 26. He's entering his age 28 season. It may seem like he's older than that right now. But the deal, he has a signing bonus 1.5 each year. So let's up it to it's $27.5 million with the signing bonus that he gets every year. But by the time we get to 2025, 4 years from now, $27.5 million for Bryce Harper, if he's good and he'll only be 32, you might take it. And again, the age that this takes him to, 36, 37, 38 is the final year with the Phillies. It's $22 million. It's not that crazy. It really is $22 million. And it's age 38 in the year 2031. Money's going to be a whole different thing at that point. Now, he's not going to get traded a lot. I mean, we're talking about the trade happening before then. But the age takes him to 38. Albert Pujols, that deal took him. Albert Pujols signed that deal. Let's see. Harper signed his deal at the age of 26. Pujols was older. Let me look at that real quick. What was the age of Albert Pujols when he signed that deal with the Angels? I mean, it's just Pujols was old. He was not. Let's see. Albert Pujols was 32 when he signed his deal. 32. Took him to age 41. So you got Pujols signing at the age of 32. Harper signed his at the age of 36. All right. Let's see. What do we got? I mean, that's the Austin. Yeah, that is the Blue Jays offer for Springer, 5 years, 125. I've seen that too. But I also saw he wants more than that. Along with that came that it's not enough, that he wants to be in the neighborhood of what Anthony Rendon got. So that's the problem with that deal from the Blue Jays. It's short. It's light. Now, maybe the Mets fall out. We talked about it earlier. Part of, Springer needs the Mets to be involved in these negotiations because if he doesn't have the Mets, then all of a sudden his bargaining power kind of takes a dive. George Springer needs the Mets to be involved because it boosts his asking power, right? Like if it's just Toronto and Toronto's negotiating against themselves, we've seen it's Toronto and the Mets. If the Mets aren't in there, Toronto can kind of name their price. And that's the thing about this whole Springer situation, how much he gets. Maybe 5 for 125 is enough. If Steve Cohen gets on his Twitter account tomorrow and says, we're out on Springer. And then the Blue Jays can almost name their price. Harper will be 39 when the current deal is finished. Right. It will be his age 38 season. He can still be productive then. Pujols was 41 heading into his age 41 season on the last year of that deal. Pujols was too old. I mean, the Angels were absolutely insane to sign a 32-year-old to a 10-year contract. Absolutely insane. Rod, if you're still here, have a good night, buddy. Take care. Albert was amazing. Albert was the machine. He's not so much the machine these days, but he was unbelievable. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Albert was fantastic. Let's see, Kyle. Yeah, Mets and Jays are the only teams in on him for sure. That is for sure. It would be very interesting if the Mets fall out. Like I could see Springer's people calling up the Mets, like, no, please don't drop out, because then the Blue Jays can name their price. Let's see here. Again, let's do a couple things, just some housekeeping pieces. Please sub to the channel if you are new here. Love it if you could do that. Like the video if you haven't liked the video and you've been hanging out for a few minutes and you enjoy the conversation. We do this every Tuesday night as a BALLCAP Nightcap. This is the lineup. This is everything we've talked about. We're in the extra innings portion right now where you guys, the chat, you're running the show. Was the Marlins extending a young Stanton bad? I don't think it was bad at the time, but the way the Marlins, things change. The Marlins were not going to be competing. They had to get rid of them. What's the Padres' next move? Bullpen, closer. They need a closer. Where do you think Bauer is going from Hayden? I think he's going to the Angels. That is my guess. Yeah, Carl, you're with me. Padres will sign a closer next. So anybody that is new, please hang out. Come back next Tuesday as well. We do the nightcap. And whenever something big happens, whenever Springer signs, whenever LeMahieu signs, if I can, I will go live. If I can't go live, we'll have something produced for you guys. So make sure you are subbed and stay close if you are enjoying the conversation we're having, because we will continue the conversation forever, for as long as we're going, as long as we can go. And sort of off the platform, if you want to find me on Twitter, at Jim Riley Live is where I am at on Twitter. Talk about some other stuff on there. I'll talk hoops on there. I'll talk all sports on there. The focus is still baseball. And again, I'll promote when some new stuff's up. So if you haven't found me on Twitter yet, make sure you find me over there as well. Again, at Jim Riley Live. Will Gavin Lux get his chance on the Dodgers? I hope so. I'm waiting for Lux to happen. If they don't sign Turner, it means they're going with Lux and Rios, and it will be time for those two. Who do I think will win the NL Central right now? Steel Badger, I'm going to say the Cardinals. I don't know what the Brewers are. They have pitching issues. Right now, I'd say the Cardinals. A lot can happen between now and opening day, but I would say the Cardinals. Hayden, you agree? Bauer to the Angels? Yep, I think that's what it is. Robert, they need to trade Lux. I mean, there's a lot of potential with Lux right now, right? I mean, that gets to my whole thing. Trade the prospects. If they can get something good back, I would trade Gavin Lux. Sure. I would certainly do it. Any Jays fans in here? Remember Brett Lowry? That looked like it was going to be awesome, and it wasn't. Now, they were able to trade him and get something out of it, but that's the thing. What is my favorite NBA team? Guys, I don't really the funny thing about the NBA is I sort of pay more attention to players than teams. I don't know if anybody else in here that follows basketball, if you have do you have a team or do you follow players? I follow more players. Again, I live in the Baltimore, Washington area. So, the Wizards games are on all the time. Kind of like the Wizards when they're good. I don't like this year because I think Russell Westbrook is a mess. But that's that. Let's see. Are the Padres winning the West, Rod? I don't think so. They will be hot on the Dodgers' heels, though. If the Dodgers have a couple of injuries or some guys don't perform up to what we expect, the Padres will be right there to eclipse them for sure. Marino has never put big money in a pitcher. Well, he has to. He's wasting the money on everybody else if they don't secure the pitching. I don't see real option at third. Dodgers are going to pick up a third baseman. I mean, Lux could play third. They have to figure something out, but I'd like to see them give Rios and Lux a chance, however they do it. Where do you think Springer is going? That's a great question, Hayden. I want to say Toronto, but Toronto's not offering up the money yet. Are the Mets still in it as like a showpiece? The Springer situation is very interesting. I would guess if I had to put something on it right now, I'd say Toronto. Let's see. Lux needs a chance. I agree with you, Giras. Let's see. Lowry's my favorite when he was traded. I was so happy. I really thought Lowry was going to be awesome, Kyle. I was really pumped for a Lowry, Travis Snyder team for like 10 years, and it just didn't happen, and that bummed me out. I'll be honest with you. I would have loved the Blue Jay team with Lowry and Travis Snyder, and it just didn't work. Hope Springer goes to Toronto. I'm on the record. That's where I think it goes. Steel Badger, you got Crew, Cards, Cubs, Reds, Bucks. I just don't know what the Brewers are. Brewers have so many needs at pitching. Let's see. Giants signed Casale. Right. Good point. Classical Revolution. And anybody that wants to see a Kurt Casale video, Hum Baby Baseball, he's not in here anymore. He was here earlier, but he does some content on here. Check him out. He did a nice Kurt Casale Giants signing video. Again, Hum Baby Baseball, if you want to check that out. Johnny Dodger should have kept Verdugo and traded Lux. We'll see. That'll be something we have to see for the next, we'll know in the next year or two. We got to see what Lux is. If Lux flames out, you're 100% right, obviously, right? I mean, Verdugo's good. Let's see. Mine is the 90s Bulls and Spurs. 90s Bulls were fun for everybody to watch. That was a ton of fun. Rios, basically Jock Peterson, strikeout or homer. Let's see. I'd rather give Lux a chance. I'm with you. The whole infield can't be left-handed for the Dodgers, right? Keep Lux. A lot of people keeping Lux. Let's see. Padres and White Sox, both young teams. Who do you like overall between those two? Padres, White Sox. That's a great question. I'm going to say Padres just because of the pitching right now. The White Sox pitching is good, but the Padres have just elite pitching right now. Let's see. Hayden, I think Springer is going to go back to the Astros. Just say with shoes. I don't think so. He wants out, which is interesting, right? He wants to get away from that situation. Yep. Springer got the offer from Toronto, 5 for 125. I think he's going to have to go higher. Everything is quiet on Arenado. It is. I think maybe that picks up at some point again. The Rockies have to do that trade. They are going to be in last place with or without Nolan Arenado. So do it without him. Do it with your system being built back up. They got to do that deal. What pitching moves are the Yankees going to make, Jaros? So I think if they lose out on LeMahieu, I think they could make a push for Bauer. Outside of that, they could make a trade for Sonny Gray or Luis Castillo. I actually feel like a trade for Luis Castillo makes too much sense. And then there are some pitching options. They could take a flyer on Kluber, maybe bring Paxton back for a year. I think they should bring Tanaka back. I'm surprised they haven't. So that's kind of what I think the Yankees are going to do. Will the Blue Jays play 21 season Buffalo again, or will they go home? Steel Badger, I actually heard that. So Buffalo's got to be in play, but they might also. I thought I heard this. I was listening to Arash, and he made it sound like they might stay in Dunedin. Like they may do spring training in Dunedin and stay there. That'll be interesting to see. They can't if there's going to be a minor league season, right? They're going to play a full 162 and everything's going to be normal. I don't know where they're going to play because the Bison's got to play somewhere. The Dunedin team's got to play somewhere. It's going to be fascinating. I'm worried. Last year they had the luxury of, there was no minor league season because they could go to a minor league team. They may have to find a home where there is no team, but there's a park. And you got to think about that. Where could they go where there's a stadium, but there isn't a team? There's a lot of stadiums there's a lot of parks down in Florida. Maybe they could catch on some. I don't know. It's going to be fascinating. I'm worried about that. Let's see. Who will take Arenado's bloated deal? I think the Cardinals could. I think Cardinals should. Cardinals should do it. Alberto, hello. Welcome. We are talking, if you are in here, delayed season A and AA. I did see that, David. But for the Jays, they're still going to need they're still going to need someone to play all year. It's going to be, and what the NHL is doing with the, Canadian teams in one division and the American League teams in the other division, it doesn't give you much hope that Toronto's going to be able to play. The Blue Jays are going to be able to play in Toronto in a couple months. This COVID thing is a disaster. the border's closed. It's not good. And I don't think it's going to get any better in time for the Jays to make plans to play up there in Rogers. Maybe the Jays can try again and share with Pittsburgh, or maybe they can play at Disney World. Disney, good call. That's a good call. That or Major League Baseball is going to have to build them a stadium or build them a park, similar to the way they threw that park together over in London a couple years ago, and the park that they're throwing together for the Field of Dreams game over there in Dyersville, Iowa. Like, they're going to have to figure something out. They should be making plans right now. I hope they're talking about it right now. They have to. What if Lux becomes a star? Lindor isn't who the Dodgers need, in my opinion. Lindor's great now. That's the thing. Lindor's great now. We haven't seen Lux yet. Let's see here. What else? What's everybody talking about? Let's see. I'm just watching the chat. Tell you what, I'm starting to lose my voice. Usually at the 2-hour mark, start to lose the voice. So let me throw up, let me put a home run up here and a couple home runs to watch while I get a drink.
He is not, and Tatis drives one to deep left field. He drives one to the moon. High, deep, and very gone. Fernando Tatis Jr. with a 2-run shot.
Pitching they wanted too early from Nate Pearson. But here's a fly ball, and Bo Bichette, his 5th hit of the game.
Batazo de fly profundo, te le centra la bola buscando distancia. Puedes. Adiós. Jorrón kilómetro.
El lanzamiento, el batazo de línea que cruzó de hit.
All right, there's no audio on that Vladdy stuff. All right. So, let's see here. We are 12-18 in the East. These always run long, and it's great. You guys are putting a lot into it. I appreciate it. What does Ross Stripling play for the Jays? He could be certainly a starter with this whole situation. Blue Jays. It's been here the whole time. All right, gang. It is getting late. It is 12-18 in the East. I need some time to wind down before I can go to bed, before I can get up and deal with the kids. So, thank you, everybody, for coming in and hanging out. I appreciate it again. We will be doing the BALLCAP Nightcap again next Tuesday. Stay close to the channel. Sub if you haven't. Hit the alerts, because when a big deal goes down, we'll come back live. We'll talk about it. We'll break it all down. Thank you guys for being a part of this community that I'm trying to build. Aaron, thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. So I think that we will wrap it up here. Thank you guys for coming in. Please sub if you haven't already, and stay close to the channel. Again, Steel Badger, good night. Everybody have a good evening. Happy New Year to everybody. I should have said that at the beginning. Happy New Year to everybody. 2021. Enoch, you're welcome. I would just hope that we can get things on track here, so we can, get back to life. That's my whole thought. That's my goal for 2021. Let's get back to life, everybody. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Don't touch any strangers' faces, and take care. We will wrap up with, I'd like to throw a video out there. I know I just put the Tatis. Let's go back. Anybody who missed at the beginning, softball. This is slow pitch softball. That's how we're going to leave it. Thank you all again. And again, we'll be back next Tuesday with the Nightcap. Stay close for everything that's coming up between now and then. Take care, everybody. Have a good night.